Okay, good morning everyone. Thanks for watching this video. In this video, I will try to help you how to answer the questions, especially for reading. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. And the first reading that we are going to have, is about Napoleon Bonaparte. As you can see on the first phrases that we read, it is about the Napoleon Bonaparte. Ya. Oke, jadi kita bisa mengenali apa isi dari bacaan itu dengan membaca 1-2 kalimat pertama. Dan ini kita lakukan secara cepat, ya. Tuh. And we have to be aware that every part of the reading will be different topic. Okay. So Napoleon Bonaparte's ambition to control all the area around the Mediterranean Sea led him and his French soldiers to Egypt. Ya, jadi biasanya usually the first sentence shows us about what is going on in the passage. Jadi kalimat pertama memberi kita pengertian ini sebenarnya tentang apa gitu ya. Sekitar 75-85% seperti itu. Ya, jadi I will say both in English and in bahasa. Jadi okay, but first of all we will do this in English first, ya. Okay. So his ambition to control all the area around the Mediterranean Sea led him and his French soldiers to Egypt. After losing a naval battle, they were forced to remain there for 3 years. In 1799, while constructing a fort, a fort adalah benteng, a soldier discovered a piece of steel. Okay, steel. The definition of steel is explained, known as the Rosetta Stone, in commemoration of the town near the fort. This famous stone, which would eventually lead to the deciphering of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic dating to 3100 before Christ, was written in 3 languages: hieroglyphs, Demotic, and Greek. Scientists discovered that the characters, unlike those in English, could be written from right to left and in other directions as well. The directions in which they were read depended on how the characters were arranged. Living elements were often the first symbols, and the direction that they faced indicated the direction for reading them. So the first paragraph seems to be very long, ya. So that is the character of the questions in this test, ya. Jadi paragrafnya ini satu paragraf yang pertama kemungkinan itu panjang. Jadi tidak lazimnya satu paragraf yang normal, ya. Jadi memang dibikin demikian. Oke. Jadi ambisi Napoleon Bonaparte untuk mengendalikan semua daerah di Laut Mediterania, membawa dia dan teman-teman prajuritnya yang dari Prancis menuju Egypt atau Mesir, ya. Nah, setelah kekalahannya mereka dipaksa atau terpaksa untuk berada di sana selama 3 tahun. Jadi mereka terpaksa berada di Mesir selama 3 tahun. Dan pada tahun 1799, ketika sedang membangun sebuah benteng, nah seorang prajurit menemukan piece dari steel. Steel di sini bukan steel baja, ya, tapi adalah pilar batu. Ya, pilar batu yang dikenal dengan nama Rosetta Stone, dan itu adalah suatu commemoration atau peringatan akan kota di dekat benteng tersebut, ya. Jadi si pilar tersebut dinamakan Rosetta Stone oleh Napoleon sebagai peringatan akan nama kota di dekat benteng tersebut. Nah, batu yang terkenal tersebut yang pada akhirnya menuju pada hieroglyphic deciphering of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic deciphering, yaitu mengubah kode-kode itu, ya, yang umurnya 3100 sebelum Masehi, ditulis dalam 3 bahasa, ya, bisa dibaca di sini, ya, bla bla bla, ya. Nah, kemudian para ilmuwan atau saintis menemukan bahwa karakter-karakternya tidak sama dengan yang ada pada Inggris. Ya, di mana dapat ditulis dari kanan ke kiri atau juga kiri ke kanan. Nah, jadi the direction, jadi arah, cara membacanya juga tergantung bagaimana karakternya itu diatur. Kemudian ada living elements, itu adalah simbol yang pertama. Ya, dan arah yang mereka pandang, yang mereka tuju, itu mengindikasikan arah membacanya. Gitu. Oke, so this is the first paragraph. Ya. Okay. Kemudian the second paragraph, 20 years after the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, Jean-François Champollion, a French philologist, fluent in several languages, was able to decipher the first word Ptolemy, the name of the Egyptian ruler. This name was written inside an oval called cartouche. Further investigation revealed that cartouche contained names of important people of that period. Champollion painstakingly continued his search and was able to increase his growing list of his known phonetic signs. He and an Englishman, Thomas Young, worked independently of each other to unravel the deeply hidden mysteries of this strange language. Young believed that sound values could be assigned to the symbols, while Champollion insisted that the pictures represented words. Jadi di sini artinya adalah jadi 23 tahun setelah penemuan dari Rosetta Stone, ini Champollion, seorang Prancis, seorang Prancis yang ahli dalam beberapa bahasa, dinamakan filologis. Nah, dia mampu mendecipher. Decipher itu berarti decoding. Decoding satu kata yang pertama, yaitu Ptolemy. Ptolemy adalah seorang penguasa Mesir. Nah, nama tersebut ditulis di dalam suatu oval yang dinamakan cartouche. Nah, kemudian investigasi atau penelitian berikutnya mengungkap bahwa cartouche mengandung nama-nama dari orang-orang penting pada masa itu. Nah, kemudian Champollion dengan bersusah payah melanjutkan penelitiannya dan mampu menambah daftar-daftar dari simbol-simbol fonetik. Nah, dia dan seorang Englishman dari Inggris, Thomas Young, itu bekerja sendiri-sendiri untuk mengungkapkan misteri yang terpendam dari bahasa tersebut. Dan yang percaya bahwasanya nilai-nilai suara dapat berhubungan dengan simbol-simbol tersebut. Nah, sedangkan Champollion itu berpendapat bahwasanya gambar yang mewakili kata-kata tersebut. Jadi mereka tidak sepaham. Okay, and then let's get ready to answer the questions. Okay. And the first question is, all of the following languages were written on the Rosetta Stones. Jadi semua bahasa ini ada pada Rosetta Stones kecuali, nah kita lihat di sini bahasa-bahasa pada Rosetta Stones. Kita nggak tahu pertanyaan apa yang akan ditanyakan. Nah, di sini bahasanya ada 3 languages. Kita tahu 3 languages di sini apa? Hieroglyphic, kemudian ada demotic, sama ada Greek. Hieroglyphic, demotic, sama Greek. Berarti French-nya nggak termasuk except. So French is the answer. So French is the answer. Except. Okay, French. All of the following statements are true except. Cartouche contain names of prominent people of the period. Dengar-dengar seperti itu sekilas. Champollion and Young work together in an attempt to decipher the hieroglyphic. Memang mereka dua orang tersebut bekerja. One of the Napoleon soldiers discovered the Rosetta Stone. It seems to be like that. Mereka salah satu soldiernya menemukan. Thomas Young believed that sound values could be assigned to the symbols. Nah, ini the options yang ada di sini close together ya, mirip-mirip satu sama lain. Tetapi kita harus hati-hati. Kita baca ulang sudah lagi. Cartoons contain names of prominent people of the period. Yeah, so every single words is based on the passage. Champollion and Young were together. Nah, ini kata together-nya ini. Ya. Nah, ini yang is not true. Ya, sedangkan di sini dikatakan mereka work independently. Ya, jadi we have to be careful ya di sini ya. Jadi banyak jebakan-jebakannya. Ya, banyak jebakan-jebakannya. Ya, so work independently. Ya, jadi tidak together. So the answer is B. Ya, the answer is B. Ya, okay. Okay, number 3. The word deciphering in line 8 is closest in meaning to decoding. Yeah, so deciphering is decoding. Yeah, okay. And the first word deciphered from the Rosetta Stone. The first word deciphered from the Rosetta Stone was, ya, kata pertama yang di decode dari Rosetta Stone adalah kata pertama dari Rosetta Stone. So yeah, the first word, yeah, the first word, ya, nah, adalah Ptolemy, ya, adalah Ptolemy. So the answer is Ptolemy. Yeah, so Ptolemy is the answer. Yeah. Okay, and then next, number 5. Napoleon soldiers were in Egypt in 1799 because they were celebrating a naval victory. I don't think so ya. Looking for the Rosetta Stone. I don't think so, karena penemuan Rosetta Stone itu sifatnya kebetulan. Waiting to continue their campaign could be trying to decipher the hieroglyphics. I don't think so. Ya, jadi Napoleon soldier berarti pada tahun 1799 karena mereka, kita pastikan. And we are going to 1799. Yeah, 1799. While constructing after losing a naval battle, they were forced to remain there for 3 years. Yeah, so after losing a naval battle, jadi mereka kalah. Kemudian mereka harus berada di sana selama 3 tahun. Ya, selama 3 tahun. 1799. Jadi terpaksa berada di tempat itu selama 3 tahun. Nah, di sini kita cari yang paling dekat dengan jawabannya. Jadi yang jauh-jauh kita coret. Celebrating naval victory jelas tidak. And then looking for Rosetta Stone juga tidak karena itu kebetulan. Waiting to continue their campaign perhaps. Trying to decipher the hieroglyphic kayaknya juga enggak. Ya, karena nggak ada hubungannya sama kemenangan perang. So the best answer is D. Ya, waiting to continue their campaign. Ya, kayak menunggu untuk melanjutkan kampanye berikutnya. And then the person responsible for deciphering the first word. Wah, jadi orang pertama yang bertugas untuk mendekode first word. Nah, di sini kita lihat siapa nama orangnya. Kita lihat the first word Ptolemy. Ini adalah French philologis yang namanya adalah Champollion, Young François Champollion. So the answer is Champollion. The answer is Champollion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then, why was the piece of newly discovered still? I don't know how to say this. Yeah. Why was the piece of newly discovered still called the Rosetta Stone? Yeah, so why is it named Rosetta Stone? Kenapa dinamakan Rosetta Stone? It was shaped like a rosette. It was to honor Napoleon's friend Rosetta. The town near the fort was called Rosetta. The fort was called Rosetta. So let's have a look at the passage if you don't remember the detail. So the name Rosetta, okay. So known as the Rosetta Stone in commemoration of the town near the fort. Yeah. So namakan Rosetta untuk mengenang nama kota yang berada di dekat benteng tersebut. So So the answer is C. Ya. Okay, the town near the fort namanya adalah Rosetta. Ya, gitu. And in ambition, the meaning of ambition is aspiration, indolence, indifference. Indifference itu acuh tak acuh atau apatis. Ya, so ambition adalah aspiration. Ya, so ambition adalah aspiration. Okay, well, the meaning of indolence adalah kemalasan or laziness. Yeah, so it's called laziness. Yeah, for indolence. Yeah, indolence is laziness. Yeah, gitu. Okay, because it is too big, yeah, from the Adobe Acrobat, so I'm not really like this actually. Yeah, why it's so big? So the best answer for number 8 is aspiration. And what is the best title for the passage? Ya, untuk mencari the best title for the passage, we don't have to be in detail, but we have to read, or how do you say that? Yeah, by using the technique of skimming. So skimming, you don't have to read in detail, but you just jump from one part to the next part, the important part, just to get the whole ideas. Ya, jadi tekniknya adalah skimming, ya, bukan scanning. Yeah, so we use skimming. Yeah. Okay. And Napoleon's great discovery, deciphering the hieroglyphs of the Rosetta Stone. Thomas Young, great contribution. Okay, yeah. The best title for the passage, Napoleon Great Discovery, deciphering the hieroglyphic of the Rosetta Stone. It seems to be detailed. Thomas Young Great Contribution seems also to be detailed. An importance of cartouche is the detail. Okay. And then Thomas Young Great Contribution is only in the second paragraph. Importance of cartouche only part of the passage. Napoleon Great Story only the beginning. But after comparing the 4 options, I think B is more general. Yeah, because there is a word Rosetta Stone, and there is a word deciphering the hieroglyphic. Deciphering the hieroglyphic of the Rosetta Stone seems to have the biggest area than the other 3 options. Jadi pilihan yang B ini mencakup area yang lebih besar, ya, jauh lebih besar daripada detail-detail pada 3 pilihan yang lain. So B is the best answer. And then the direction for reading hieroglyphic discussed. Jadi di paragraf yang di baris yang mana yang ada tentang cara baca atau cara baca itu, ya. So it is not a difficult job for us to find, yeah, because the direction of reading, yeah, the direction in which they were read depended on, and in the direction in which they were read, yeah, depended on how the character were arranged, yeah, from right to left and blah blah blah. Now it is in line 15, so the answer in line 15, yeah. So B is the answer, lines 14 to 18, yeah. Okay, B. Okay guys, this is the end of the first passage, and we are coming to the second passage. Yeah, of course the second passage will be different, will be much different. It could be a little different, but prepare to have a much different topic, yeah. And I really suggest that remembering the time only 55 minutes, or yeah, I think 55 minutes from the Yeah, 55 minutes for the 50 questions. I really suggest that you should answer this correctly, or if you don't the answer exactly, you can give a temporary answer. Jadi saran saya, karena waktunya sangat terbatas, kalian bisa berikan jawaban sementara dulu. Nanti jika ada waktu lebih, kalian bisa mengulanginya kembali dan memastikan. Ya, gitu. Okay, the second passage. Sequoyah. Yeah, Sequoyah was a young Cherokee Indian, son of a white trader and an Indian squaw. At an early age, he became fascinated by the talking leaf, an expression that he used to describe the white man's written records. Although many believed this talking leaf to be a gift from the Great Spirit, Sequoyah refused to accept the theory. Like other Indians of that period, he was illiterate, but his determination to remedy the situation led to the invention of a unique 86 characters alphabet based on the sound patterns that he heard. Ya. Jadi Sequoyah adalah seorang anak muda Indian Cherokee. Ya, jadi putra dari seorang pengusaha atau pedagang dan Indian squaw. Ya, okay, so I don't know the meaning of squaw, but based on the context, di sini ada kata white trader. Ya, white trader, so it must be a man. Ya. And an Indian squaw must be a woman, ya. Jadi si Indian ini adalah putra dari seorang kulit putih dan seorang perempuan Indian, ya. Okay, not Indian as a India country, but Indian as an American Indian. Nah, di usia awalnya dia tertarik kepada yang namanya talking leaf, ya. Nah, kalau kita baca secara harafiah, leaf adalah daun, talking itu berbicara, tapi di sini kita nggak lihat secara harafiah, ya. Nah, jadi talking leaf adalah ekspresi atau kata yang dia gunakan untuk mendeskripsikan catatan-catatan orang kulit putih. Ya. Nah, meskipun banyak orang, many people percaya bahwasanya talking leaf murni adalah pemberian dari Great Spirit, tapi Sequoyah ini menolak teori tersebut. Nah, seperti Indian yang lain pada zaman itu, dia itu nggak buta huruf, ya. Dia buta huruf, tapi dia punya tekad, determination untuk mengatasi situasi tersebut dengan menemukan satu alfabet, 86 karakter alfabet, ya, yang unik berdasarkan pola suara yang dia pernah dengar, ya, gitu. His family and friends thought him mad, but while recuperating from a hunting accident, he diligently and independently set out to create a form of communication for his own people as well as for other Indians. In 1821, after 12 years of work, he had successfully developed a written language that would enable thousands of Indians to read and write. Ya, jadi keluarga dan teman-temannya berpikir bahwa dia itu gila, ya, crazy. Nah, tetapi selagi dia recuperating atau lagi recover from illness, masa penyembuhan dari kecelakaan saat dia berburu, dia secara rajin dan secara mandiri, dia berhasil menciptakan satu bentuk komunikasi bagi orang-orangnya, ya, dan juga bagi Indian yang lain, ya, gitu. Nah, tidak dijelaskan orang-orangnya ini maksudnya gimana, ya. Oke. Nah, ini kemampuan kita untuk menebak juga, ya, gitu. Nah, in 1821, setelah 12 tahun bekerja, dia berhasil menemukan suatu bahasa tertulis yang memampukan ribuan Indians untuk membaca dan menulis, ya. Jadi, ya, membuat mereka lebih literate, ya, membuat mereka lebih mampu membaca dan menulis. Ya. Untuk bacaannya cukup panjang di sini, so kita punya explanation, understanding, jangan terlalu lama, ya, karena kalau kelamaan kita lupa. Jadi saran saya ya agak cepat supaya kita understandingnya masih ingat gitu. Sequoyah desire to preserve words and events for later generations has caused him to be remembered among the important inventors. The giant redwood trees of California, called sequoias in his honor, will further imprint his name in history. Ya, jadi desire-nya dia, jadi hasratnya dia demikian besar untuk melestarikan kata-kata dan peristiwa-peristiwa untuk generasi di bawahnya, membuatnya diingat, ya, sebagai penemu-penemu penting. Ya, Ya, itu giant redwood trees, ya, satu pohon raksasa di California, itu dinamakan sequoia, ya, sebagai penghormatan, dan di nama tersebut sebagai penghormatan akan peran serta sequoia dalam sejarah, ya. Okay, let's get ready to answer the questions. Okay, what is the most important reason that sequoia will be remembered? Ya, kenapa dia penting untuk diingat, ya? So California redwoods were named in his honor. He was illiterate. He created a unique alphabet, atau he recovered from his madness and helped humankind. Ya, jadi mana yang alasan di mana dia layak untuk diingat, ya? Nah, I think the best answer is he created a unique alphabet, ya. Nah, karena dia menciptakan alfabet yang unik. Nah, ini adalah kerja keras dia bagi umat manusia, ya. Nah, meskipun yang tadi ada kata humankind, tapi yang ini kurang masuk akal, ya. Jadi the best answer yang masuk akal juga dan yang tidak lucu di sini adalah yang C. So C is the best answer. And the word squaw tadi sudah dikatakan kan, ya, so white trader sama menikah dengan white trader sama Indian squaw, ya. Squaw adalah woman, ya. Di sini woman, ya. Okay, woman. Squaw is a woman. So meskipun tidak dikatakan, even though it is not stated as woman, so but we know that we can conclude that this is a woman, ya. Wow. And then, how did Sequoia family react to his idea of developing his own talking leaf, ya? Oke, bagaimana reaksi keluarganya saat pertama Sequoia itu mengatakan akan membongkar tentang talking leaf, ya? So reaksi keluarganya adalah he became fascinated by talking, an expression that he used to describe the man. All the many believe the talking leaf. Yeah, Sequoia was young son of wet, and he became fascinated talking leaf, expression that he used to describe the white man's record. All the many believe the talking leaf. Refused to accept the theory like the nation, where it was there for the Oh, okay. His family and friends thought him mad. Ya, oke, ya. So, jadi reaksi keluarganya adalah mereka berpikir dia itu gila, gitu, ya. They thought he was crazy, ya. Not to help, ask him to teach them to know, arrange for his hunting accident, no, but they thought that he was crazy based on the text. What prompted Sequoia to develop his alphabet? Apa tanda-tanda atau yang memprompt Sequoia untuk mengembangkan alfabetnya? Apa yang menjadi trigger, ya, yang men-trigger Sequoia untuk mengembangkan alfabetnya, ya? People write things about him that he couldn't read, ya. Okay, ya. Okay, let's have a look at the passage, ya. Okay. They used to describe the white man records. All the many believe. Okay, we have to cross check. Yeah, so number 14, the answer is D. Yeah, so he wanted the history of his people preserved for future generation, supported by this. Yeah, to create a form of communication for his own people as well as for other Indians. Yeah. And illiterate. So illiterate means unable to read or write. Yeah. So we have to do this quickly. Yeah. Okay. It is implied. So implied is one of the most difficult questions. Yeah, because we have to make a conclusion, read, think, and make a conclusion. It's implied that Sequoia called the written words the talking leaf. Yeah. Why is it called the talking leaf? Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay. Why it's called the talking leaf? Yeah. So it is unique. Yeah. Now the talking leaf, an expression that he used to describe the white man's ini talking leaf adalah expression, adalah ungkapan yang untuk menggambarkan catatan-catatannya orang kulit putih, ya, the white man's written records, ya. Jadi talking leaf adalah catatan-catatan untuk menggambarkan expression, kata-kata untuk menggambarkan white people. They played music. No. When he observed white people reading, they seemed to understand what was written. No. He was going mad and he thought the leaves were talking to him. No. It was the only way that the Great Spirit had of communication of communicating with them. So A and D seems to be far away from the correct answer. We have a B and D. Ya, tapi yang D dikatakan the only way that the Great Spirit had of communicating with them, ini juga agak jauh. So yang make sense, the most make sense is B. Ya, jadi talking leaf tadi berkaitan dengan itu. Dia katakan white people itu tadi. When he observed white people reading, they seem to understand what was written. Jadi ini sejalan dengan memang tidak sama persis ya. Jadi in this test tidak exactly the same. So, but we have to get the real meaning. Ya. So B is the same as this. Ya, an expression that he used to describe the white man's written records. Jadi catatan-catatan tertulis orang kulit putih. Ya, the best answer yang paling cocok di sini adalah yang B. Ya, dibandingkan yang A, C sama D. Bahkan yang agak jauh ya, A sama C ini jauh sekali ya. Okay. Sequoia could best be described as bagaimana kepribadian Sequoia? Apakah determined, penuh tekad, gila enggak ya, backwards atau meek? Ya, the meaning of meek is a quiet or gentle. Ya. Meek is a quiet or gentle. Ya, quiet or gentle, tenang, orangnya tenang. Ya, and based on the passage, we do not find dia itu orangnya tenang ya, enggak ya. Sepertinya dia punya determination ya, karena di situ dikatakan bahwasanya dia punya tekad ya, determined. Nah, ya, dia punya tekad. From the meaning of the words, we can understand that the character of Sequoia ini orangnya punya tekad. Nah, ini dapat di represented by the words, kata-kata ini, determination, kemudian refuse to accept the theory. Jadi dia nggak gitu aja menerima, tapi dia mau mendobrak ya, mau bikin sesuatu yang baru ya. Jadi so the character of Sequoia is determined ya, orangnya punya tekad gitu ya, untuk nggak langsung gitu aja menerima. And the best title for the passage, Sequoia determination to preserve the Cherokee language, the origin of Cherokee language, and Sequoia madness. Nah, madness ini enggak ya, salah ya, madness, not madness. Ya. Kemudian the origin of Sequoia trees, ini hanya detail, jadi A or B. Ya. So for number 18, the answer is the best title adalah tekad dari Sequoia ya, untuk melestarikan Cherokee language itu ya. Okay. Yeah, this is the best answer. And then fascinated. So fascinated is terpukau. Yeah, and the synonym of fascinated is absurd. Absurd. Yeah, so absurd is fascinated. Yeah. Kemudian exasperated. Exasperated adalah irritated and frustrated. Ya. Exasperated adalah ya, irritated or and frustrated. Ya. Okay, confused and imaginative. So the best answer for number 19 is A, absurd or fascinated. And then all of the following are true, except Sequoia developed a form of writing with the help of the Cherokee tribe. I don't think so. Yeah, Sequoia was a very observant young man. Yeah, true, observant, determined. Sequoia spent 12 years developing his alphabet. Okay, the wrong one is ini agak jauh sekali ya, jadi jelas-jelas kalau salah ya. Dia menulis dengan bantuan Cherokee tribe. No, not at all. Yeah. Okay, so that is the end of the second passage, and then let's get ready for the third passage. Yeah, of course you will be jumping from one passage to the next passage, and that would be very different thing. Yeah. Okay. So from Sequoia we are coming to Aztec. Ya, jadi di sini topiknya adalah Aztec Nation. Ya, Aztec Nation in Mexico. Ya, kita. The mighty warlike Aztec nation existed in Mexico from 1195 to 1521. The high priest atau kayak pendeta gitu ya, memimpin agama, taught the people that the sun would shine, the crops would grow, and the empire would prosper only if the gods were appeased by human sacrifices and blood offerings from all levels of their society. The priests practiced forms of self-mutilation, such as piercing their tongues with thorns and flagellating themselves with thorn branches. Yeah. They collected the small amount of blood produced by this practice and offered it to Huitzilopochtli and blah blah blah, their chief gods. They insisted that all Aztecs needed to make some sort of daily sacrifice. Warriors were promised a place of honor in the afterlife if they died courageously in battle. Ya, mighty adalah powerful, very powerful. Ya. Jadi warlike Aztec nation. Jadi ini bangsa Aztec yang ada di Meksiko tahun 1195 sampai 1521. Ya. Nah, pendeta mereka atau para pemimpin agama mereka yang tinggi-tinggi mengajar masyarakatnya atau orang-orangnya bahwasanya matahari akan bersinar, tanaman-tanaman atau crops itu hasil pertanian akan tumbuh dengan baik dan kekaisaran akan makmur hanya jika gods atau para dewa itu were appeased ya, atau terpuaskan dengan pengorbanan manusia, sacrifices ya, dan juga ada pemujaan darah ya, blood offerings, penawaran darah dari semua level masyarakat ya. Nah, oleh karenanya maka para pemimpin agama menerapkan bentuk-bentuk self mutilation ya, jadi mutilasi sendiri ya, seperti piercing ya, jadi seperti lidah mereka di pierce ya, dilubangi ya, dilubangi dengan thorns itu apa, duri, dan flagellating ya, flagellating themselves itu memukuli badan mereka sendiri dengan dahan-dahan yang berduri ya. And they collected a small amount of blood produced by this practice and offered them. Mereka mengumpulkan tetesan-tetesan darah dari kegiatan tersebut dan menawarkannya kepada mereka punya dewa-dewa. Ini namanya adalah ini ya. Nah, they insisted that all Aztec needed to make some effort. Mereka berpendapat bahwasanya semua orang Aztec harus melakukan ritual-ritual seperti begini ya. Nah, ritual-ritual seperti begini setiap hari. Nah, kemudian para pejuang itu dijanjikan akan mendapatkan satu kehormatan setelah dalam kehidupan mereka berikutnya jika mereka meninggal secara berani dalam peperangan. Ya, seperti itu. Okay, and then the second paragraph. The second paragraph. The Aztecs were constantly at war in order to have enough captive from battle to serve as sacrificial victims. Ya, jadi Aztec were constantly at war in order to have enough captive from battle to serve as sacrificial victims. The prisoners were indoctrinated before their deaths into believing that they too would find a place of honor in the afterlife and that their deaths ensured the prosperity of the great Aztec nation. After being heavily sedated with marijuana or a similar drug, they were led up the steps to the top of the ceremonial centers, where they accepted their fate passively, and their palpitating hearts were removed from their bodies as an offering to the gods. Ya, jadi Aztec itu mereka secara teratur mereka perang dan mereka memastikan mendapat banyak tawanan dari pertempuran tersebut dan para tawanan tersebut akan digunakan sebagai korban sacrifice. Ya. Nah, para tawanan tersebut akan didoktrin, di brainwash sebelum mereka ditewaskan ya, atau dikorbankan, dan mereka diberi satu kepercayaan juga bahwa mereka akan mendapatkan tempat terhormat setelah afterlife, setelah mereka meninggal, dan kematian mereka akan memastikan adanya prosperity atau kemakmuran bagi masyarakat Aztec. Nah, setelah dibius ya, sedated ya, setelah dibius habis-habisan dengan marijuana atau drug yang mirip dengan marijuana, maka mereka akan dibawa langkah demi langkah menuju puncak seremonial ya, dan dimana saat itu mereka akan menerima fate mereka, takdir mereka secara pasif, dan jantung mereka yang masih berdetak dengan kencang itu akan diambil dari tubuh mereka sebagai dan di offer kepada para dewa-dewa ya, as an offering to the gods ya. Okay, so let's get ready to answer the questions for number 21. Why did the Aztecs offer human sacrifice? Yeah, they were cruel and inhuman. They believed they had to pacify the gods. They wanted to force the citizens to obey, and they wanted to deter crime. Yeah. Now, we still remember that they have a human sacrifice because they want to satisfy gods. Mereka percaya mereka harus pacify gods, satisfy, ya, harus please God ya. Jadi harus memuaskan para dewa-dewa ya. So B is the answer ya, based on the text. Before the sacrifices, the victims were, nah, sebelum dilakukan satu sacrifice, maka victimnya harus tortured and harassed, disiksa, fed and entertained, diberi hiburan, brainwash and drug. Ya, so the answer for number C is brainwash and drug. Jadi harus dicuci otak dan di drug. Ini kelihatan di sini ya. Nah ini, ya, jadi indoctrined. Ya, they were indoctrined before their deaths. Ya, gitu. Ya. And then, in what manner did the victims accept their destiny? Ya. Nah, jadi saat-saat terakhirnya maka victimnya itu merasa apa? Ya. Nah, apakah mereka berontak, rebellious, ya, violently, kekerasan? Ya, tidak ya. Jadi victimnya itu submissively atau passive ya. Nah, katakan di sini they were accepted their fate itu passively ya, submissively ya, sinonim. And then the word appease is the meaning is satisfied ya, in line 4 ya, in line 4 the word appease ya, line 4 peace. Okay ya, empire would prosper only if gods were appeased, gods were satisfied ya. Jadi dengan mereka percaya dengan pengorbanan manusia tersebut, gods akan merasa satisfied. And what is the best title for the passage? The best title is The Aztec Needs to Offer Human Sacrifice, Aztec Victims, no, only detail, History of Mighty Aztec Nation, History, kayaknya lebih dari yang diceritakan di atas, High Priest. Jadi topik yang lebih cocok untuk ini adalah The Aztec Needs to Offer Human Sacrifice, ya. Jadi Aztec dan Human Sacrifice, ya. Jadi kalau Aztec Victim terlalu kecil, History of the Aztec ini, history, kalau kata-kata history jauh lebih lebar dari yang diceritakan di atas, dan juga bukan tentang priestnya. So the best or the best answer yang paling cocok, yang paling pas adalah yang B, yang A, Aztec dan Human Sacrifice, ya. And then what did the Aztec believe the gods crave in order to people survival? Ya, jadi apa yang dipercaya Aztec yang gods inginkan ya supaya people survival, ya, apa yang diambil dari manusia. Nah, the answer is blood. Ya, the answer is blood. Ya, karena dikatakan di sini blood the small ini, blood, ini, the small amount of blood, blood produced by this practice and offered in ini, mereka diberikan kepada mereka punya chief gods, jadi itu yang diinginkan, yaitu blood, jadi darah dia diinginkan, order to people survival, blood, for number 26, Okay. And then for number 27, which of the following is not given as a reason for offering human sacrifice? Following yang bukan sebagai alasan untuk memberikan human sacrifice. The sun wouldn't rise, the crops wouldn't grow, the warriors wouldn't be famous, the empire wouldn't be successful. Nah, even though I don't understand exactly what it means, tapi yang tiga ini sudah sama. 1, A, B sama D ini sama. Sedangkan yang C different. So C is the answer. The warriors wouldn't be famous. Okay. So sometimes we have to read, we have to answer this quickly. Jadi tiga yang sama, satu yang berbeda, maka satu adalah yang itu adalah jawabannya. Sebelum kita analyze deeply, atau we give a temporary answer aja dulu, apa-apa dengan tanda tick atau apa nanti kita review lagi gitu. Why were the victims willing to accept their fate? They like to see the sunshine. They wanted everyone to see them at the top of the ceremonial centers. They were made to believe they would have a place on honor of eternity. Jadi mereka di brainwash dulu Kenapa mereka mau tanpa ada pemberontakan? Karena itu mereka di brainwash dulu. Mereka di brainwash bahwasanya mereka akan menerima eternal life. Ini. Nah, mereka akan menerima honor in the afterlife. Honor in the afterlife, and that ensure the prosperity of the ini bla bla bla. Jadi mereka kalau meninggal dengan cara tersebut, mereka akan mendapat kehormatan pada kehidupan berikutnya. Okay. And 29. Which of the following is described as a form of self-torture that the high priest practice? Nah, jadi bagaimana bentuknya self-torture, jadi penyiksaan diri sendiri, yang diinginkan oleh para pemimpin agama mereka. Indoctrination, devastation, piercing their tongues. Jadi mereka pierce lidah mereka sendiri. Itu namanya self-torture. Dikatakan di atas tadi kan. Jadi itu based on this. Jadi ini mereka piercing their tongues, so self mutilations, okay. Yang diinginkan oleh high priest mereka, gitu. Jadi kemudian itu dilakukan oleh high priest, oleh pemimpin-pemimpin agama, mereka melakukan itu. The mighty is powerful. Mighty is powerful. Mighty is powerful. Primitive, unimposing, meticulous. Meticulous itu teliti, detail, gitu. Okay, so that is number 30. It's about Aztec, and then we have come to number 41. So it's a different topic again. It's about petroleum. So petroleum products such as gasoline, kerosene, home heating oil, residual fuel oil, and lubricating oil come from one source, crude oil. Crude oil found below the Earth's surface as well as under large bodies of water, from a few hundred feet below the surface to as deep as 25,000 feet into the Earth's interior. Sometimes crude oil is secured by drilling a hole into the Earth, but more dry holes are drilled than those producing oil. Either pressure at the source or pumping forces crude oil to the surface. So the topic of this passage is about petroleum atau minyak, petroleum atau minyak. Jadi petroleum produk itu bisa jadi gasolin, kerosin bahan bakarnya pesawat, gasolin bahan bakar kendaraan, home heating oil dan residual fuel oil dan juga oli lubricating, minyak lubrikasi, ya, berasal dari satu sumber, yaitu minyak mentah. Ya, minyak mentah yang ditemukan oleh manusia di bawah lapisan bumi, ya, juga bisa di bawah air, ya. Nah, jadi kedalamannya dari cuman a few hundred feet, 1 feet 30 cm, beberapa ratus feet, ya, sampai kedalaman 25.000 feet di bawah permukaan bumi. Nah, kadang-kadang crude oil ini didapatkan dengan melakukan satu drilling atau pengeboran, ya, pengeboran di earth. Kemudian lebih banyak pengeboran, ya, itu tanpa membuahkan hasil daripada pengeboran yang membuahkan hasil. Jadi dikatakan sini dry holes are drilled, ya, jadi dry hole, jadi telah dibor kemudian kering, nggak ada apa-apa, ya. Nah, tapi sebagian lagi ada oilnya. Nah, lebih banyak yang kosong, ya, gitu. Either pressure at the source, ya, kemudian dilakukan satu tekanan pada hole yang memang ada oilnya tersebut, atau pemompaan, ya, pumping forces, ya, untuk membuat crude oil itu keluar ke permukaan, ya. Itu paragraf yang pertama. Crude oil wells flow at varying rates from about 10 to thousands of barrels per hour. Petroleum products are always measured in 42 gallon barrels, ya. Nah, kemudian si sumur-sumur minyak itu keluar dengan rate atau dengan kecepatan yang berbeda-beda, ya. Jadi bisa jadi hanya 10 sampai ribuan barrel per jam, ya. Nah, kemudian produk-produk petroleum itu diukur dalam 42 galon barrel, ya, ukurannya seperti itu. Petroleum products, paragraf yang ini, ya. Petroleum products vary greatly in physical appearance, thin, thick, transparent, or opaque. But regardless, their chemical composition is made up of only two elements, carbon and hydrogen, which forms compounds called hydrocarbon. Other chemical elements found in union with the hydrocarbons are few and are classified as impurities. Trace elements are also found, but in such minute quantities that they are disregarded. The combination of carbon and hydrogen forms many thousands of compounds, which are possible because of the various positions and unions of these two atoms in the hydrocarbon molecule. Jadi hasil-hasil petroleum, produk petroleum itu beraneka ragam, ya, bentuknya beraneka ragam juga, ya, bisa tebal, tipis, transparan, atau nggak transparan. Tetapi tanpa memandang itu, komposisi kimianya itu hanya dua, yaitu karbon sama hidrogen, yang membentuk satu compound yang namanya hidrokarbon, ya. Nah, jadi campuran, ya, karbon sama hidrogen disebut hidrokarbon. Nah, kemudian elemen-elemen lain yang ditemukan dengan di luar hidrokarbon itu sedikit dan diklasifikasikan sebagai impurities atau tidak murni, ya. Kemudian trace elemen juga ditemukan, ya, tapi dalam jumlah yang kecil dan mereka diabaikan. Nah, kemudian kombinasi dari hidrokarbon dan hidrogen membentuk berbagai macam atau ribuan compound atau campuran yang mungkin dalam posisi yang berbeda-beda, ya, dan unions atau gabungan dari dua atom ini dalam molekul hidrokarbon, ya. The various petroleum products are refined by heating crude oil and then condensing the vapor. These products are the so-called light oils such as gasoline, kerosene, and distilled oil. The residue remaining after the light oil are distilled is known as heavy or residual fuel oil and is used mostly for burning under boilers. Additional complicated refining processes rearrange the chemical structure of the hydrocarbon to produce other products, some of which are used to upgrade and increase the octane rating of various types of gasoline, ya. Jadi berbagai macam jenis petroleum products itu dimurnikan, ya, refine dengan melakukan heating atau pemanasan dan juga condensing, pendinginan dari uap air itu. Nah, produk-produk tersebut dinamakan oil atau minyak ringan seperti gasolin, kerosene, dan juga distilled oil. Nah, kemudian ada residunya. Ya, residunya setelah light oils itu didistilasi lagi dan dikenal dengan nama heavy or residual oil dan digunakan untuk burning under boilers. Kemudian complicated refining process, ada juga proses pemurnian yang lebih rumit ya. Nah, yang menggabung atau rearrange chemical structure of the hydrocarbon untuk memproduksi produk yang lain ya. Nah, beberapa digunakan untuk mengupgrade dan meningkatkan oktan ya untuk beberapa tipe gasolin ya, seperti itu. Okay, and then the next question is all of the following are true except ya. Jadi we still have to remember meskipun topik ini agak mungkin asing bagi kita, tapi kita harus berusaha mengingat ya sekitar 35, 40 or 50% of the content of the passage. All of the following are true except crude oil is found below land and water. Crude oil is always found in a few hundred feet below surface. Pumping and pressure force crude oil to the surface when the petroleum products are obtained from crude. Nah, di sini yang salah adalah kata-kata always ya. Jadi always, jadi dikatakan always found a few hundred feet ya. Nggak always ya. Jadi bisa jadi di bawah itu ya. Jadi nggak always, it is not true ya. Okay, B is the answer. Okay. Kemudian the word minute ya. So minute is small, instant, huge, insignificant ya. Insignificant, that's small ya. Ya, minute is small ya, insignificant ya gitu. And then many thousands of hydrocarbon compounds are possible because many thousands of hydrocarbon compounds are possible. The petroleum products vary greatly in physical appearance. Ya, thousands, ribuan dari hydrocarbon compounds are possible because Okay. Which of the following is true? Various petroleum products are produced by filtration. The heating and condensing produce the various product. Okay, so heating and condensing produce the various product. Jadi yang bisa bikin berbagai macam produk adalah heating and condensing. Ya, chemical separation, various product. Okay, so heating and condensing. So various petroleum products ya, kita konekkan ini keywordsnya ya. Ini ada various petroleum products. Kemudian di sini dikatakan refined by heating and condensing. Jadi kita connecting ini connecting keywords ya, keywords dari question sama keywords dari passage ya. Dan biasanya 95% itu cocok ya. Oke ya, kecuali tingkat kesulitannya ditambah lagi ya. Tapi ya, so far itu 95% we connect keywords from the questions and the keywords from the passage ya. Gitu. Opaque ya, opaque, the meaning of opaque is the meaning of opaque is turbid ya, turbid. Turbid itu berarti tebal atau enggak transparan. Nah, how can we know this? Nah ini we can guess ya, actually we can guess. Let's have a look at this. Where is opaque? Ini over here ya. Thin and thick, transparent and or opaque ya. Jadi thin and thick adalah opposite. Nah, transparent jadi lawannya adalah tidak transparan atau opaque. Jadi opaque adalah tidak transparan ya, opaque tidak transparan atau turbid ya. Jadi bukan transparan, bukan tapi turbid ya, tidak transparan, jadi nggak bisa kelihatan, nggak tembus pandang gitu ya, opaque. And for number how is crude oil brought to the surface? Bagaimana crude oil dibawa ke permukaan? Jadi to answer these questions we have to understand also the content or the meaning of the passage ya. Kita harus mengerti isi bacaan tersebut dan thank God if you like it ya. Jadi memudahkan kalian untuk menjawab dengan lebih tepat ya. How is crude oil? Bagaimana crude oil dibawa ke permukaan? Expansion of the pressure and pumping. Nah, I still remember ya. Nah, jadi dengan tekanan dan juga pemompaan Ya, jadi to answer this kind of the TOEFL questions, memang kita harus juga banyak baca, harus juga kalau bisa banyak tertarik dengan banyak hal. Ya, jadi background information atau information sebelumnya itu yang support kita menjawab dengan lebih tepat dan membuat kita lebih interested dengan bacaan berbagai macam bacaan. Ya, kita. Oke. Kemudian all of the following are listed as light oils. Ya, semuanya sebagai light oils. Jadi light oils, ya, oil ringan ya. Oke, right. This I don't remember, so we have to find the keyword light oils. Nah, ini. Ya, light oils. Ya, gasolin, kerosin sama distillate. Ya, gasolin, kerosin sama distillate. Gasolin, distillate sama kerosin. Jadi yang lubricating oil tidak termasuk, so lubricating oil is the answer. And what are the principal components of all petroleum products? Ya, all component tadi kita ya, hidrogen sama karbon ya kan. The principal components of all petroleum products are hydrogen and carbon. Ya. Okay. And next, condensing. Ya, so condensing itu kalau proses dari water vapor menjadi water, ya. Jadi just like in the morning we have embun, ya, embun itu condensing. Ya, itu adalah proses cooling atau pendinginan, ya, condensing. Jadi dari itu water. The word day in line 20, ya, the word day in line 20. Ya, they we have to have a look. Day in line 25, 20. Ya, which are line 20, 15. They are disregarded. Yeah, they. Yeah, they. Yeah. Okay. Trace elements are also found, but in such minute quantities that they are there. Jadi we have to look at the nouns yang sebelum-sebelumnya. Nah, di sini they mengacu pada trace elements. Ya, so trace elements. Ya, so they refers to trace elements. Yeah, trace elements. So the answer is trace elements. Yeah, yes, trace elements. Yeah. Okay, so we have done answering these questions, and we are ready to come to the next passage. Yeah, and the last passage. Yeah, it is a social passage, social kind of passage. Yeah. Bukan tentang yang technical, tapi sosial. Politics. In the United States, presidential elections are held in years evenly divisible by 4. Yeah? Since 1840, American presidents elected in years ending with 0 have died in office with one exception. William H. Harrison, the man who served the shortest term, died of pneumonia only several weeks after his inauguration. Nah, ini topik dari yang diberikan di sini ini unik banget ya. Ya. Nah, ini tentang kematian presiden di Amerika. Ya. Nah, died kematian presiden di Amerika. Ya. Nah, jadi di Amerika itu pemilihan presiden diadakan setiap 4 tahun. Ya. Ya, jadi tahun-tahunnya harus bisa dibagi jadi 4. Ya, evenly divisible by 4. Jadi seperti 1884, 1900, 1964 dan sebagainya. Ya, a little bit mathematical actually. Nah, sejak tahun 1840, presiden-presiden Amerika yang dipilih dalam tahun-tahun yang berakhiran dengan 0, ya, itu mereka meninggalnya di office. Ya, ini believe it or not ya. Nah, tapi ada satu exception ya, one exception. Ya, jadi William H. Harrison ini enggak ya gitu. Tapi dia meninggal karena pneumonia atau masalah paru-paru, ya, masalah paru, ya. Nah, several weeks, beberapa minggu setelah his inauguration. Inauguration itu apa? Inauguration itu adalah ini peresmian. Jadi peresmian dia menjadi presiden dengan diambil sumpahnya, ya. Abraham Lincoln was one of the 4 presidents who were assassinated. He was elected in 1860. And his ultimately death came just after 5 years. Yeah, James A. Garfield a former Union Army general from Ohio, was shot during his years in office, 1881, by a man to whom he wouldn't give a job. While in his second term of office, William McKinley, another Ohioan, attended the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, and during the reception, he was assassinated while shaking hands with some of the guests. John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1863 in Dallas, only 3 years after his election. Ya, jadi Abraham Lincoln adalah salah satu dari 4 presiden yang ditembak, ya, dibunuh. Ya, jadi assassin itu adalah pembunuhan. Assassination, ya, itu pembunuhan dengan cara tembak, ya, atau pembunuhan orang-orang penting, gitu ya, assassination, ya. Assassination berarti dibunuh, jadi orang penting yang dibunuh, ya. Ya, dia dipilih tahun 1860 dan kematiannya 5 tahun setelahnya, ya. Kemudian Garfield, ya, a former Union Army general from Ohio, itu ditembak, ya, pada waktu dia berada di kantor, ya, oleh seorang pria yang dia tidak kasih pekerjaan, ya, to whom he wouldn't give a job, ya. Nah, kemudian di dalam second term in the office, ya, William McKinley, ya, juga orang dari Ohio, ya, attended the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, menghadiri satu eksposisi atau pameran di Buffalo, New York, ya. Nah, selama resepsi tersebut dia ditembak, ya, selagi dia sedang berjabatan tangan dengan salah satu tamunya. Kemudian John F. Kennedy juga ditembak, assassinated in 1963 in Dallas, ya, hanya 3 tahun setelah dia dipilih, ya. Nah, kemudian 3 years after his election in 1920, Warren Harding died in the office. Ya, jadi ini tentang presiden-presiden US yang meninggal di office. Yeah, although it was never proved, many believe he was poisoned. Franklin D. Roosevelt, elected 4 times, the only man to serve so long a term. He had contracted a polio in 1921 and eventually died of the illness in 1945. Ya, gitu. Ronald Reagan, who was elected in 1980 and re-elected 4 years later, suffered an assassination attempt but didn't succumb to the assassin's bullet. He was the first to break the long chain of unfortunate events. Ya, will candidate in the election of 2000 also be as lucky? Nah, jadi Ronald Reagan yang terpilih pada tahun 80 dan dipilih lagi 4 tahun kemudian, ya, itu sempat mengalami assassination, percobaan assassination, tapi dia nggak sampai tewas, ya. Nah, dia adalah presiden pertama yang bisa memecahkan rantai dari unfortunate events, ya. Nah, apakah calon yang tahun 2000 juga beruntung juga, gitu ya? Oke, ya. So this is the text. All of the following were election years except. Nah, jadi kita ini harus angka-angka di sini harus bisa dibagi oleh 4, ya. Habis dibagi 4, ya. 1960, 1930. Nah, kita ambil angka yang belakang, 60 dibagi 4 bisa 30 yang nggak bisa, ya. So 30 is the answer. Ya, so 1930 cannot be divided by 4. So 1930 is the answer, ya. Which president served the shortest term in office? Dikatakan di sini yang meninggal karena pneumonia yaitu Warren died of pneumonia. William H. Harrison, ya, shortest term, ya, so shortest term, ya, so shortest term, ya. Okay, William H. Harrison. So the answer is William H. Harrison, ya, Harrison. Which of the following is true? All presidents elected in years ending in 0 have died in office. Only president from Ohio have died. Only presidents from Ohio have died in office. Franklin D. Roosevelt completed the 4 terms as president. 4 presidents have been assassinated. Yeah. So the answer for number 2044 is D. Yeah, 4 American presidents have been assassinated. Yeah. Okay. And then how many presidents elected in years ending in 0 F since 1840 have died in office? Yeah, number 45. So this is actually silly questions. Yeah, silly questions. The answer is A, 7. Yeah, okay. Died in office, except yang itu Harrison itu ya. Jadi yang yeah. Okay, yeah. So Harrison, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, Kennedy, Harding, and Roosevelt. Yeah. And then the inauguration. Inauguration. The meaning of inauguration is swearing in ceremony. Jadi pengucapan sumpah untuk satu jabatan, swearing in ceremony. That's inauguration. And all of the following presidents were assassinated except John F. Kennedy were assassinated, and then Abraham Lincoln also. And and James A. Garfield, but Franklin D. Roosevelt was died because of polio. Yeah? Okay, he wasn't assassinated. And the word whom in line 11. Whom in line 11, the man to whom. Ya, the man to whom. Ya, jadi pria yang tidak diberi pekerjaan sama dia. Ya, jadi whom adalah pria yang nggak diberi pekerjaan sama dia. Ya, so the answer is whom is Garfield assassin. Ya, contracted is developed. Ya, develop disease. Ya, contracted a polio and develop polio. So yeah, so I think that is the end of how I answer all of the questions from the reading passage. Yeah, of course, my answer and solution is not perfect. Yeah. There are still a few questions that I miss, yeah, but in general, you should answer the questions by some clues, yeah, by connecting the keywords, skimming and scanning, and then understanding. So you must have a prior information or prior detail and information. Jadi kalian harus punya informasi sebelumnya, jadi harus sering baca, suka baca, dan syukur-syukur kalau suka topik tersebut, ya. Gitu. Okay, yeah. So this is the ending of the video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to support my channel by subscribing and like, and then see you again on the next video. Okay, bye. Have a nice day and stay healthy. Yeah.